So this serialization is the last topic in file and IO streams. It is a technique most widely used for network applications and persistent storage of objects in order to maintain the reference of remote object. So this is actually a concept used in distributed application. What do you mean distributed application? The applications which are actually running in internet are called as distributed application. That means you can store an application in one system and you can distribute the same application to multiple users at the same time. Okay, so those kinds of applications are called as distributed applications. And it is the other name of distributed application is network application. Why? Because these applications are running with the help of internet. Without internet, you cannot run this application, these kinds of application. So this serialization technique is used in such kinds of application, that means network applications. So what is the advantage of serialization in network application? See, for example, if I'm using Gmail, and you know that Gmail is a distributed application where multiple users can access the same Gmail application. I have an account with my user ID and password with Gmail application. At the same time, the others can also have their own user ID and password to access the same application, that is Gmail application. Right? For example, my Gmail email ID is abc@gmail.com. The others and the other person email ID is, for example, xyz@gmail.com. Both are accessing the same Gmail application. They will see their own data in their inbox, right? So when you log into your Gmail account, you can see the emails, those who are actually for you, right? Whatever the emails you have sent to other persons and what are the emails you are received, all those data you can see in your control panel when you log into your Gmail account, right? So the concept of serialization is like this. When I log into my application, that is Gmail account, till I log out from the account, my data will be visible, right? That means when I enter my Gmail ID and password in login form of Gmail and click sign in button, if my user ID and password is accepted by Gmail, I will be redirecting to a control panel. I will be redirecting to a control panel where I can see my emails, right? It may be sent mail, it may be inbox, it may be personal, it may be junks, etc. Right? So when I send a request to server stating that I want to log into my Gmail account, and your Gmail is actually stored in one server that might be in might be in India, one of the station, one of the server station, for example Chennai. In Chennai server station, Gmail server is actually Gmail application is stored. That Gmail application I am accessing from Wayanad, right, using my user ID and password. So I am requesting the Chennai server that I want my Gmail account to be opened, right? So when I enter the correct user ID and password, the server will respond you with a control panel, right? With a control panel. What do you mean control panel? The first page which you can see when you log into your Gmail account, that is called as control panel. So then in control panel, you can see all your mails, right? So when I want to compose, when I want to send a mail to one of my friend, that is xyz@gmail.com, I want to send a mail to xyz@gmail.com. What you will do is you have to click compose button, and you know that you have to click compose button, so that there you have to enter the recipient email ID, subject, and the content, right? Now I'm into a server and I'm logged into my user ID and password, where this user ID and password is stored when I logged in. This user ID and password is stored in a serializable file. This user ID and password is stored in serializable file in server. So what is the purpose of storing this user ID and password? See, there are two kinds of network application, network communication: persistent communication and non-persistent communication. There are two kinds of communication: persistent communication and non-persistent communication. What do you mean by persistent communication? When I send a request to server and server receives the request, after that, the communication between the client and server will be lost, right? If it is not persistent. If it is not persistent, when I send, that means a client send a request to server, and once the server receives the request, the communication between the client and server will be disconnected. If it is not persistent. If it is persistent, if the server receives the request, then also the communication will be active. It won't be disconnected. See how it is not disconnected? Because your request session data that you will be studying next year, your request session data will be stored on server. This session data may be your email ID and password. So till you logged out from the Gmail account, your communication between client and server will be active. Okay, so once you enter your user ID and password to log into Gmail account, at the moment when the server receives the request, your data will be stored in server, one file called as serializable file. That serializable file will store the session data. Session data means your user ID and password. This is actually used for persistent communication. So you got it, what is persistent communication? Persistent communication means once you send a request to the server, till the communication process is being completed, your data will be, or your communication will be active. If it is not persistent, once the request is received by the server, your communication will be disconnected if it is not persistent. So to activate persistency in server, we use serializable file. So storing the state of object into a file is often referred to as serialization. What do you mean storing state of object? That is session data. State of object means session data. So what do you mean by deserialization then? Reading the object state from stored file is deserialization. When you want to store data into, when you want to store object state into a file, that is called as serialization. When you want to read object state from stored file, it is called as deserialization. The two methods that are useful for object serialization are read object on object input stream and write object on the object output stream. These are the two useful object serializations: read object and write object. Read object in object input stream and write object in object output stream. So this is about serialization. I hope you understood. The serialization is actually used in network application for making active persistency between communication. Okay. So that's it about file and IO streams.